Hello and good evening. This is Recycling with a Vengeance, Episode 3, and this is Leland Erickson. And here we go. Picking up where we left off, here is our mouse, turning into a speeder. And last time we left off, we painted the belly dark gray, and we started doing some light gray over it. So how do we get to this look? Well, actually, I made a second one, so we could illustrate these steps. So, you see the dark gray. You see somewhat lighter gray on the outside, and then the inside of the middle you see the light gray. Matches up. Because what we did is we applied 2 dry brush layers of this misty gray over that much darker base coat. And so just a quick recap. Dry brushing, soft ratty brush, some paper towel, a little bit of paint from the palette on the end of the brush, wipes them off, nearly dry brush. Back and forth, real quick, chop, chop, chop. Just like this, and build it up. That second layer builds up. See, the first layer comes thin, but the second layer gets more color, more pigment, and there we go. Just that simple. Now, for our next beat, a second color we're going to apply to our original speeder. Remember, we're going to follow similar to World War II U.S. Navy practice. We're going to have an upper and lower color, lighter gray belly, and then a darker blue above. And we're going to use this separation line between the two halves as our guide. So how, you might ask, do we keep blue paint from getting on the gray paint? Well, there's several ways to go about it, but the quickest and dirtiest method in this case is the humble 3x5 card. See? 3x5. So we take a nice dark Vallejo steel blue, really made for airbrushing, but it's an acrylic. It'll work just fine. And we put some of that in the palette. We get a nice ratty brush. And we're going to do the same treatment like we did before with the dry brushing. Only this time, where does that 3x5 card come in? Well, we're going to slip it in the gap, just like that. You see? And we get our paint and our brush. Wipe some off with the paper towel. Back and forth real quick. That way we try to keep the blue from bleeding over onto the gray. Now this stuff's a little bit on the thin side because it was meant to be airbrushed, but it's a dark color. It's a really nice dark blue. And it has a really nice effect once it's dried. And then once we hit it with the second lighter shade, it's going to look really cool. So real quick and short episode this time, just to show off a little more of how I do what I do. I'd love it if you'd follow me on Instagram, and that's hashtag Recycling with a Vengeance. And I have all kinds of pretty pictures up of this and many other projects. And of course we keep a running track of what's going on here. And you see, all I do is keep moving this card down along the model as I go along to protect the paint job. And I'll come back over it again and touch it up. You can see where some gray bled over. But when we get going here, and as we build up the color, it'll get nice and solid, and we'll have that nice clean differentiation between the gray and the blue. And we'll do the same thing with our new mouse speeder, which is going to join the original mouse speeder. And you can see a lot more pictures of these guys on. So that's all for this episode of Recycling with a Vengeance. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thanks for watching, and remember, save that plastic. You might just need it.